Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to show you the best way to set up a WordPress website in 2023. Let's get into it. Alright, so this is the method that will allow you to quickly and easily set up a website completely for free with minimal to no coding, depending on your requirements. If you ever have some real specific requirements, you might have to do some coding, but overall, this will allow you to get everything set up and not have to do anything complex or anything specialized, and you'll be able to do this yourself. So the first thing you need to do is to download or install WordPress from wordpress.org. So there's two ways you can do this. When you have a website set up, you've set up the hosting or you've purchased hosting already, usually they will allow you to just install it straight from there. Now this is going to depend on the hosting platform. So for instance, if we go into DreamHost, which is the one I'm currently using, you can see here under managed websites, they have a WordPress section. And you can just click install and this is going to install WordPress for you. So that's the easiest way to do it. If you're starting with a completely new website, it's not a backup that you're uploading or anything like that. However, for this video, I'm actually going to be installing the website on my local machine using a software called MAMP. You can see it here. And this software basically runs a server on your computer and allows you to build the website on your computer and then upload it once it's finished to the hosting. So that way, if you're replacing an old website or something like that, you have no downtime. So if you're doing it this way, or your host doesn't provide a one-click WordPress installation, or you can't do it through cPanel, for instance, what you'll need to do is go to the wordpress.org website, which is wordpress.org. and download the latest file. Now WordPress is always updating, so what you want to make sure to do is always update the latest one so that you don't build the website on an old version and then you need to update that and it might break your website and so on. This just makes sure that you start with a good thing right from the beginning. So we'll click here, download WordPress. You can see here it's opened already, so I'm just going to save it in a folder. So save it somewhere you obviously will find it. Okay. All right, now the download's finished. So now what you're going to have to do is the same thing that I'm going to have to do here. So if you are installing it on your host, what you would want to do is go into the file manager or cPanel and open the file manager. So I'll show you what I mean. You can see here I've just opened the file manager. If you have cPanel, like I said, you'll want to go into cPanel and then hit file manager and you'll get hit with this same sort of thing. And then you'll have the main folder, which is the public_HTML folder typically, or it's one like this, which is the name of the website in this case. And what you want to do is go into that folder. And here you want to upload the file you just downloaded and extract it all. So you can do it either way. It's going to be easier if you just upload it and then extract it. I have to do it in a folder because I'm doing it on my local machine, but it's the same process. So I'm going to go into the MAMP folder. You can see here, and then under htdocs. And then here I'm going to make a new folder for the website I'm making. Okay, and now I'm going to bring the files into this folder. So I'm just going to drag it across. You can see now it's in here. Now I'm going to hit extract here. I want all the files to be there. Now it's going to extract it into a folder called WordPress. You want to cut them all out and just paste them in the main file, in the main folder, sorry, so that you don't have /WordPress. Otherwise, if you leave it in the WordPress folder, what's going to happen is you're going to have to go to like whateverwebsite.com/WordPress to actually see it. So you don't want that. Make sure they're in the main folder and they're all out like this. So now once that's the case, now you can go to your URL of your website and you're going to see an installation screen. So in my case, because it's on the local host, I need to go to localhost and then go / the folder I made, and that should now open it. And this is the screen that you're going to see. I'm not sure why it's showing Galatian. I don't even know what language that is. So yeah, now you just want to pick your settings. I just leave it on English. And now you need to make a database. So in order to do this, just hit Let's Go. So now you're going to have to go back into your host manager and make a database on MySQL. So I'll show you how to do that. What you would do is go back to the main. You would have to find a thing that says MySQL database. As you can see here on the left, I have that. Sometimes it'll be in the main folder, like manage my account or something like that. You're just going to have to find wherever MySQL database is. Sometimes it'll be within cPanel as well. You'll open cPanel and then you'll see a thing that says MySQL databases or SQL database. You want to click that. Now my one, again, I'm going to do it on my local machine. So I have to go localhost php myadmin. This is what it's probably going to look like on your one if you're using cPanel. And now you want to make a new database. So here you want to put in the database name. So I'm just going to put the one that for the website I'm making. So now we've got a database, that's it. And now you need to add a user. So you'd want to go privileges and make sure that there's a user that can actually access this database. So I'm just going to add a new user, make whatever username, user, and then you can set the password to whatever you want it to be. Okay. Or you can generate the password. A lot of them will allow you to do that. And now what you want to make sure to do is make sure that you've got all privileges granted on database and then the database you selected. Or you can create a database with the same name. I have found that this can sometimes cause issues, so I don't typically do this one. I usually just make sure that it's on the actual database, give it all the privileges, and then hit go. And now it should make the new user. As you can see here, you've added a new user. So now you should be able to use this info here and put it in. So the username was that. This was the database name. This was the database name. Now we've got the password that you just put in. The host is localhost in this case. Typically, it's usually localhost. If not, you might have to go into your hosting platform and find out what host name you need to use. Some of them will actually tell you what name somewhere within the manager or within the SQL database place, but sometimes you might have to just go on the quick chat or the support and just ask them if you can't find it. And then you hit submit. And now if you've done everything correctly, you can see here, it said that we've made it through this part of the installation, and now it's going to run the installation and set everything up. So you just hit run installation. Now it's installed, so now you just want to input the information for your website. So I'm just going to put in you want to put in your username and password. I'll put my password, my email. Now, you don't want to tick this box unless you are running, you're making this website live and you don't want Google to index it. So if you're not putting a coming soon page or something like that, and you are building this on your actual host, then you want to tick this and ideally put a coming soon page so that Google doesn't index the site with like incomplete pages and things and then tries to put that on Google, because you don't want that. First of all, it's bad for user experience. Second of all, it's bad for your rankings. So if that's the case, click this button, but always remember to unclick this later. You have to go into the settings and unclick this. If you don't, then your website's never going to rank on Google with this ticked. So just make sure that you remember about this. But in my case, because I'm doing it on localhost, I'm just going to untick it and install. Cool, so now it's been finished, it's been installed, and we can now log into the website. So I'm just gonna put in my login. All right, so now this is what you're gonna see. So now we've got WordPress set up and we're ready to actually start building this website. So part 2 is installing the plugins. Now, these are the plugins that I always use on every website that I build because I found that I need all of these. So I'm just gonna go through these one by one and show you which ones and how to install them. Some of these are personal preference. For instance, Classic Editor is personal preference. So this is going to depend. I'm going to walk you through each one of these. Now, the other thing I'm going to do on this sheet is I'm actually going to put the links to each of these in this sheet, and I'm going to link this sheet below so that you can actually download this and get the links to each one of these plugins so that when you're setting up your website, you can easily just go straight to them. So the first one is Classic Editor. Now this one, if you've never used WordPress before, WordPress have updated their editor to be a more complex one called Gutenberg, which I just hate. I absolutely hate it. Some people seem to like it, but I don't. Classic Editor installs the previous editor they used to use, which I think is much, much better. And you'll see now, if you go into plugins, it's actually the most installed plugin on WordPress. And I think there's a very good reason for that. You can see here, it's the #1 installed plugin because nobody likes that new editor. So I'm going to hit install and I'm going to install this one. And basically it's just going to make the interface much easier for you to use, which is why I use this one. Okay, and then you just hit activate. And now you've got it installed. So that's how you install a plugin. It's that easy. So I'm just going to go through this list and finish them. So Elementor is the page builder that allows you to actually like drag and drop things to build the page. Now, page builders usually suck, but Elementor is actually really good. So I recommend you use Elementor. Don't waste your time with any of the other ones. Trust me, this shit. So just go straight to Elementor. So every time you want to search for a plugin, you just type it into this box here and it's going to give you all the search results. So it's this one here, Elementor Website Builder. You just want to hit install. Now there is a paid version of Elementor. If you want to get all their features, it's like $60 a year or something like that. However, all the features that I've needed, I've been able to find using free plugins, which I'm going to show you in the subsequent 2 plugins that are going to come after this. However, if you want to get the pro version and just get all of the things, that's fine as well. That's going to work for you. You'll see you'll get taken to this page once it's installed. You don't have to do any of this. You can just skip completely. So I just skip it. I just skip all of this. And then I deal with it later once I'm ready. Okay, and now you'll see that Elementor is going to open up and give you to start editing. So this is what it looks like. But I'm going to go back and finish editing installing the different plugins because that's what we're doing. All right, so go back to plugins and now we want to install Elementor header, footer, and blocks. So what this one does is Elementor's free version doesn't allow you to actually edit the header and footer of the page. So this plugin does. It allows you to go in and actually make a header and a footer that's going to be site-wide and on specific pages and things like that. So this one is pretty much essential. You'll want to use this plugin as well. Without it, you're going to have a hard time. So it's this one here, the blue with the header and footer. You can see that. So just hit install on that one. Okay, now the next one is essential add-ons for Elementor. Now this one's actually optional. A lot of the time you're going to find that Elementor's standard free version, aside from the header and footer, will have everything you need. However, I've found in some instances I want some extra feature that's not in the free Elementor version, so I just install this plugin and that basically gives you everything else. Things like certain image galleries or other features that they put behind the paid version. Now again, if you want to get the paid version of Elementor and get all of that, that's perfectly fine as well. So you can do that. Okay. Now the next one is all-in-one SEO or Yoast SEO. So these plugins are going to allow you to edit the meta titles and things, meta titles, descriptions, and some other features to do with SEO. I used to use Yoast SEO, but I'm actually now starting to prefer all-in-one SEO. Either one is going to work, so it's basically a personal preference. Just pick which one you want. They both more or less allow you to do the same thing. Okay. All right, I'll just head back to dashboard. No thanks. All right, next one is contact form 7 or WP forms. So these are the contact forms on the website. You obviously want people to contact you most of the time if you're setting up this website. Now, contact form 7 does mean that you have to do coding to get it to work. So if you're not confident doing coding, then just use WP forms. Contact form 7 is good because it gives you a lot of flexibility and stuff you can do, but you need to know how to code, use short codes and things. It gets kind of complex. So if you just want to set up a form, you don't want to mess about too much, just use WP forms, which is what I'm actually going to do in this case. And that one just allows you to basically drag and drop with very, very minimal coding. You might need to if you want to make like some certain style changes and things like that, but to just set up the form, you can just do it with no code here. So we'll go with this one on this particular website. So it's this one here with the bear. So you want to hit that. Okay. Now this one is optional, widgets for Google reviews. If you want to display your Google reviews on your website, you want to install this plugin. It's really good. It lets you just feed the reviews straight from Google onto the website and then just display them live. And you can filter out like negative reviews and things like that. Obviously, if you don't care about this or you don't want to display testimonials for whatever reason, you don't have to use it. But I think it's a good plugin if you do want to display reviews. So I'm going to install it here. Okay. Now the next one is duplicate page. Now you'll want to do this one because it's going to make your life a lot easier. Not sure why that's happening. What? Not sure why that happened. Hopefully that doesn't turn to error later. Yeah, you want to add, I'll see what's going on with this one afterwards. You'll want to add this duplicate page one because WordPress, for some reason, and I have no idea why, they don't allow you to actually copy pages that you've made to just make a duplicate one. So you're going to need this plugin. It's kind of stupid. You'd think that would be part of it, but it isn't. So if you install this plugin, it's going to allow you to like duplicate posts, pages, and pretty much anything else. So once you've made one, let's say you want to make one, you want to use the same template for a second one, you can just duplicate it and then make the changes you want on the new one. So install that one to be able to do that. And now Easy Updates Manager. This one allows you to prevent WordPress from updating itself. So a big problem with WordPress is that they have the core update, which updates their system. And the problem with that is when it does the update, what's going to happen is it'll break your website a lot of the time. Like it messes with the theme or it messes with a bunch of plugins or whatever. And so the issue you have there is once the update's done, you can't roll it back and your website's broken. So if by any chance you don't have a backup, you're basically fucked. So what you do is install Easy Updates Manager, which allows you to set all of the update options onto manual so that you manually go in and update it when you are ready. So that allows you to actually make a backup first and then do the update, and then you'll, in case anything goes wrong, you can actually restore your website. So it's this one here, this orange one. Now the next one is redirection. So this one is going to allow you to go in and set up redirections for certain pages on your website. So for instance, if you change a URL, it's not going to redirect it for you. You're going to have a 404, which is a big problem. So what you want to do is install this plugin, and then this plugin is going to allow you to make the redirect. And this plugin is actually really good because if you set it to, it'll actually keep track of every time you've changed a URL and make the redirect itself. So that's really handy as well. Often you don't even have to think about it. So it's this one here with the flowers. You want to just hit install on that one. And then the last one is insert header and footers. So this one allows you to insert code into the website. So you're going to need this for things like Google Analytics code, Google Tag Manager, Facebook Pixels, things like that. This last one is going to allow you to actually put those codes in the header, in the body, and in the footer of the website. So I'm just going to install that one and then we'll finish the redirection setup. You have to do some stuff for that plugin. Oh, hang on. It's not that one. Whoops. It's this one. I've hit the install on the wrong one. It's actually this one with the yellow. You want to hit install on this yellow one. Okay. Just make sure that's the right one. Yeah, this is the one. So ideally you want to make sure that you have one with scripts and body, which this one does, because for Google Tag Manager, it asks you to add it in here. Now, yes, you could add it in the footer as well, and we'll still get the job done, but it's just good to have that option. All right, so let's just go and finish this redirection setup, because you're going to have to go through that. Okay, so it just talks about that. We'll just hit start setup. I typically don't click I click this one, monitor permalink changes. So this is if you have made a change to a URL, it's just going to do it automatically. So I just click this one because sometimes you might forget or whatever. It's just handy for it to do it. This one I don't bother with because I just never check it, to be honest. So just hit that and let it do its thing. Okay, and then just hit finish setup. It will go through the process and then that'll be that. Okay. Cool, that was it. It's that simple. You just click the stuff. All right, now, one last thing. This is a trick that you can use. So you can install a plugin called Duplicator. I'm just going to add this quickly to the sheet. So this is the one that I use to back up the website. So if you go to here, go add new and duplicator. This one allows you to basically download the whole website in a zip file and a PHP file to actually activate the installation. And so you can download the whole website, keep a backup of it, and then if you ever need to re-upload it, you can just re-upload it and reinstall it. But what is the thing I would do here is we've just set all this up with all these plugins and we've basically got a clean new website, right? What I would do if you're intending to make more websites is actually go now and install this plugin and make a backup of what we've just set up. So next time when you need to make another website, you can literally just upload this file that you've got through Duplicator and then just begin working straight away instead of having to go through this process of installing 10 plugins. Now, you'll probably have to update a bunch of shit when you do that, right? When you've uploaded it, you'll have to update most likely WordPress, like the core WordPress software and the plugins. However, it's not going to break anything because you don't have anything on the website anyway. It's just shortcutted the process of having to download every single thing. So just go and create your first package. You won't need Pro for this. And just put the file name, whatever name you want, and then I'm actually just going to put, I'm just going to call it WordPress setup file, and go down next, and it's just going to scan what you've done, make a file package, and then you can download it. It'll download the zip file and the other files. You can see here, I don't know why it's giving me that, but we'll just go hit build. Okay, now you want to hit download both files and just save them wherever you want to save them. I'm going to save them in my WordPress folder that I have. Okay, and you'll get the two files popping up. One's a zip file, one's like a installer.php file. So now what you can do is when you want to set up a website, again, if you're going to do another one, you can just upload these two files in the file manager, go to /installer.php, run the installation, and then it's going to have all this, literally what we've just done here, you're going to have this installed straight away. And that's going to save you a ton of time messing about. Now, what I'm going to show you to do is the last step in this process, which is to make a child theme. Right, so to make a child theme, what we have to do is go into the WordPress files and actually add two files and a new folder. Now, the reason, first of all, why you want to make a child theme in the first place is because when WordPress does the update, what can happen is it'll actually it'll reset all your styling that you've done. So if you've put any custom CSS style or anything like that to make changes to your website, when Google does the main update, what happens is they reset the style sheet to the original style settings that the theme would have by default. So what happens is you lose everything. Now, by making a child theme, what you do is you're essentially putting another layer on top of the standard one. And so when it resets this one, your layer still stays there and all your settings remain. So that's why you want to do it. Otherwise, you're going to have a massive problem the next time an update happens. So just make one now at the beginning, and then this is going to be sorted. So what we should have done is made the duplicator backup after this section. So don't make the duplicator backup that I just showed you until after you've done the child theme. I should have done that first, but honestly, I forgot. So just make sure that you do the duplicator afterwards to have the backup. Otherwise, you're going to have to make a child theme manually every time. So in order to make the child theme, you're going to need two files. Now, I'm going to include the files as well, but what you're going to find is this is the code that you need to put in on one of the files. So one of them is going to be a style.css file, and another is going to be a functions.php file. So basically, this is just telling it like what theme it is, and what theme it's pulling the standard info from, and then the functions file makes it happen. Now, what you might find is with this functions file, this one doesn't work. It depends on what theme you use, which functions code exactly you're gonna need. I have so far found 3, and this one has been the one that has worked the most universally. However, I'm going to include all 3 of them here for you. I'm gonna put it like this. So let's do this. Use first. We'll put this one here, and then if it doesn't work, hang on. If it doesn't work, what the? Oh my God. Try. And then we'll put this one. I'll give you the second one. Okay, and if that doesn't work, then you can try the third one. If all of these 3 don't work, then you're on your own. I don't know what to do there. Hang on, that was the first one. But between these 3, I've never had it not work. But if you're using some weirdo theme or something, then, I mean, you're just going to have to find one. But yeah, one of these 3 will work in 99% of cases. Usually this one, okay? So I'll bold that one. So what you want to do is you'll need to go into your file manager yet again. So like I showed you initially, it would be here. So you're in the file manager in the root folder of the installation you made. And then you want to go to WP content. And then themes. And now you want to make a child version of whatever theme you're intending to use. So in this case, you can see here we got 2022 child. So that's how you have to name the folder. It has to be the exact name of the original folder and then dash child, right? So I'm going to do that here in the local folder where I've just made my new website. So we'll go themes. So now I want to use, which one's on that style sheet? I think it was 2020. It doesn't really matter as much, but some themes have like real strange things like to do with the blog and stuff that's going to require you to like manually try and fix it. So you want to try and find one that requires you the minimum amount of work. Usually my one has been, I think 2020 or 2022. I'm just actually going to check. Okay. So to actually go back a step quickly, what you want to do is go into appearance and then themes on your new website, and then you can pick the theme you want to use. So like I said, I would mostly pay attention on what the blog looks like for the theme, because that's going to be the thing that you can't actually edit with Elementor. You're going to have to manually make it look how you want it. So if you pick one that's completely off, then you're going to have a lot of work to do in terms of coding. So what you want to do is pick one that has the blog that looks correct. So what you can do is like click add new theme and just go look through the ones and pick one that you want. But for the main website, it's not going to be a major issue because Elementor is going to take care of basically everything. So I typically just use like one of the standard WordPress ones. So I'm just going to use 2021 for this one. So you just want to hit that, activate, right? So now we've got the theme that we want to use. So we want to go now into the files like I mentioned. And you want to take the one that you're going to use and just copy the folder, right? And then add dash child to the end of it. Now you want to delete all of this. So alternatively, you could have just made a new folder and copied the name, same thing. And now you want to take those files here. This one, you want to save it as style.css and make sure that it says what name it is, the theme that you're using. So in this case, it would be 2021. Now this has to be the exact name of the folder. So if the folder says 2021 or 23 or whatever it is, Astra, whatever other themes you're going to use, it has to be the exact name that it says here. So you want to make sure that template says that. These are the two things that are the most important. If you search up this file online, you'll find one with a whole bunch of other stuff, author, URL, some other crap. You don't need all that. You just need these two lines to make it work, and that's it. So you want to make sure you have that thing so you can open Notepad and literally do this. Take this and type in like that and save it as style.css in that folder that you've just made. Or you can save it somewhere and then paste it in the folder, whatever. I'm just going to save it straight in. So and now if you're doing this, make sure to change text document to all files at the bottom. So that actually saves it as a CSS file. Okay. And now the second thing you want to do is the functions PHP. So same thing, just copy that, paste it, save as, make sure you don't save that as the style. You want to save it as functions with an s.php. Again, all files, and you want to hit save. Okay. So now we've got the two files installed where we need them. So like I said, you would be doing this here in your file manager if you're doing it on the hosting platform. Now, when you go into themes, you should, when you reload the page, you should now see it. If we've done this correctly, should see it pop up. So now we've got 2021 child. So now here's how you know if this is going to, the functions PHP file worked. So this is what the normal theme looks like. You can see it's got styling, right? It's got color and stuff. Now, if you had done it correctly, you activate the child theme, it should look the same. So let's see what happens. All right, it looks the same. So that means it worked. Now I'm going to give you an example of what happens is if the code is wrong. So let's say we picked this one, this functions PHP code, or something was wrong somewhere. I'm just going to save it, and now watch this. Let's see if it works. Okay, so that code worked on this one as well. Let's try the other code. It'll be funny if all three work. If it does, then I'll break it intentionally to show you. There you go. So this is what happens if either this can happen or, so the way to fix this is just put the other code back. Okay. See? And fixed. That's how you know it worked. If there's anything wrong and the website's not showing up correctly, there's no theme or anything, then you know that you've messed it up basically, and you need to try one of the other functions files or double check that you don't have any spelling mistakes or anything like that. So now the website's ready to go. This is it. You shouldn't have to do any other setups. Now, if you need to install other plugins or whatever, that may be the case. As I go through and build this website and show you, we might find that I have to install some other plugin or something, but these are the base ones that are going to get you going for like 99% of things you're going to need. And like I said, I would go now after doing the child theme and now make the duplicator. So I'm actually going to just delete the old one that I made. Just going to delete it, and I'm going to make a new one with the child theme. So now if I ever, now the next time I have to build a new website, the child theme is even going to be done. And I can just go straight into setting it up. Just going to delete the old files. Okay. Okay, and that's it. Now, like I said, I'm going to include a link to this sheet below this video so that you can click this and get this information. So you'll have wordpress.org. I'll link to all of these plugins so that you can get straight to them. You don't need to mess about, and you'll have these this code for the child theme, and then that's going to get you going. So that's it for this part. Catch you on the next one.